It's very aerodynamic. It's very quiet as far as its airflow out on the highway. And if you had stuck a BMW badge on this with a BMW grille or even a Mazda logo on this, everybody would have been oohing and ahhing. Guarantee it. Well, good day, everybody. I'm coming to you after a long week spent driving this 2021 Ford Escape in the Top Dog titanium trim. We've been road tripping in this thing. We've been sitting in traffic. We've been running around and out on country roads, and we've got to know a lot about it. So this is Ford's entry into the blistering hot compact CUV segment, and spoiler alert, it does compete very well, in my opinion. Now, this Escape is completely overshadowed by the Ford Bronco Sport right now, and that car is all the rage, and this is getting very little love and very little attention. And it's also funny because that Bronco Sport is completely overshadowed by the regular Bronco, which came out a couple months ago. So below those two, this Escape gets no love, especially in the automotive journalism circles. It's completely upstaged by the RAV4 and the CR-V, etc. You know, and this is an important vehicle for Ford. They moved about 170,000 units last year in the 2020 COVID year, which is definitely down, but you know, that's still a lot of volume for any vehicle. Now, this comes in hybrid, it comes in plug-in hybrid, it comes with a 3-cylinder 1.5 turbo as the base engine. But today here we have the gem, one of my favorite engines, and that's that 2-liter 4-cylinder Ford Turbo. So let's hop out and take a look. This is in a pretty nice silver color. And then when Ford redesigned this for this generation, they said they were going to make it softer, a little bit maybe more feminine, because they knew they were coming out with the Bronco Sport. So where if you want something a little bit more rugged looking, you're really going to go for something like the RAV4 or wait for or go for the Bronco Sport. Now, I like this shape of this car. I know it hasn't got a huge amount of love, but I actually like it. I think it's right sized. But all in all, this is a very aerodynamic shape, and during our highway travels, it really made for a quiet ride. So you got decent space in the back, like all of the competition does. An auto lifting hatch. You do have a full-size spare tire down here, really decent storage. 12 volt over here. You cannot put the seats down from back here, which is a little annoying, and when they do go down, they are not flat, but you do get a nice flat load floor. Again, this thing is just right sized. The back seat is really good in this. Perfectly, very comfortable back here. You do have a USB and a 12 volt down here, which is really nice. You got rear vents, and under the hood here is the highlight of this car. .250 horsepower. This is the 2-liter. Nope, right here is where it goes. Maybe right here is where it goes. Yep. This is the 2-liter, and well, we're going to talk a little bit more about it, but this is the highlight of this titanium trim. 250 horsepower, plenty of torque. This engine is smooth and quiet, and I think it's one of the better 4-cylinder turbos out there right now. This titanium trim does have a really nice power driver seat, up and down, forward, back, all kinds of good stuff. Passengers are treated very well in this thing, and you get almost a huge glove box on this side. So you get a nice thunk, especially from the inside. Now the horn is beeping there because I left with the smart key. Yeah, this car has every bell and whistle on it. It does not have one of the packages, which would give you the panoramic sunroof visibility. Other than that one spot back there is pretty decent. the headrests get in the way, but all in all, this car sits really, really nice. Again, it's just like every other compact out there. So the only thing this is missing, like I said, is that sunroof. This is not the full leather. This is Ford's, whatever this is, but it's pretty nice. And these are heated. There is no cooled seats available, which I think is a little bit of a short sight given that this is the highest trim. I don't know what to really say about the interior. It's quite the mixed bag. It's very spacious. I think it's well put together. I think the whole car's put together well. No squeaks, no rattles. This specific model has 15,000 miles on it and no squeaks or rattles whatsoever. Infotainment system is great. You have the Ford Sync 3, you have Apple CarPlay. The screen is just perfectly situated. It is kind of a stick-on, but it doesn't look like a stick-on. They've done a really good job of integrating that really well. This area here, really nice tactile knobs for tune and volume. You got some really nice buttons here. You got this, that'll take you over to your sound settings, skip, back, play. All that's really nice. And this is my favorite button right here. Just turn the whole screen into a clock, or just turn it off. Love it, love it, love it. Wish every car company just had one button dedicated to turning on and off the screen. Once you drop down, you get into this area here. Auto climate, dual zone on both sides. Really, really nice buttons for these. Nice, large, tactile. All the other buttons in here get really, really small and confusing, like your heated seats, your fan speeds. So not a big fan of this area here, but changing your temperature is great. Now down in this area right here, I do like the dial. You get really used to the shifter dial. I do like that. You got your park brake, you got your brake hold in traffic, and then you got your modes. You got some self-parking features here, your auto stop and start. So all this is not sitting in a sea of piano black, which is really, really nice. I love an open area like this on all cars. You do have a USB down there. Oh, you do have a USB here with good lots of trash in there. You do have a USB down in here too. This padded armrest falls really, really nice to my arm anyway. And this one does have a wireless charger down there. I don't think that's standard. It's getting a little hot in here. I don't think that's standard. I think that opted in. We've had almost zero luck charging phones with this. They do charge. They charge very slowly and they get extremely hot. So don't have a lot of experience with wireless chargers, but I just know that this one is just not cutting it for us. But you do have the USB here. Everything feels good when you touch it, other than these little stalks right here. And this does have shifters, which I'll get into, as they are completely pointless. So Ford, they didn't use a lot of piano black, which is good. You do have this beautiful screen, digital screen. Very, very nice. Really like it. It's not very configurable. The only way to really change anything is you change your modes, and it'll change colors, normal, eco. It's a little slow. You can do it. Yay, you did it. A little slow when you change modes. Obviously sport, it gets sport red, of course, which all cars do. So I like it. It looks good. It's just not very configurable. It's not very fast. We'll just put it right back over to normal mode there. The tachometer is interesting in that it doesn't smoothly move the dial, and I don't know if that's intentional. Okay, so let's take this for a spin. Like I said, this has every option you can think of. It has a heated steering wheel that heats the whole wheel. It heats it really, really fast. All the buttons here are pretty typical, pretty easy to use. So where do I put this car compared to everything else? I would much rather drive this than a CR-V. I would even rather drive the 1.5 3-cylinder more than the CR-V, because this has a really good 8-speed transmission. It's a regular torque converter. It kind of lets you know it's a torque converter, but it's always kind of working in the background, shifting quietly. So the 1.5 3-cylinder in this is about 180 horsepower. It's pretty torquey. And it's a pretty good engine for this car. It moves it along adequately, and that's what's going to be the big seller also in that Bronco Sport. Now, when you move up to the 2-liter in this car, when you move up to the 2-liter in this car, it becomes actually really quick. This is a sub 6 seconds, probably 5.9, right around 6 seconds 0 to 60 car, and it feels really quick, and it moves with authority. Now, the other thing with this 2-liter, I think it's one of the best 2-liter 4-cylinders out there. It's always doing what you want it to do, regardless of its RPM or speed. The thrust or the power and torque is very linear and smooth. It comes on right when you touch the pedal. It's right there. There's no bogging down. There's no waiting for anything. And I'm generally waiting for the transmission there. I'm not waiting for the turbo. This does have start stop, and it's okay. It's one of the better ones. Again, this engine is just so quiet in normal operations that stopping and starting it is not you just don't notice it. Let's go ahead and change it to Sport. So when you do put this car in sport mode, as far as I can tell, it only changes the shift points and it changes the throttle response. I don't notice anything in the steering. It definitely doesn't have adaptive dampers or anything, but you get a very Audi-esque kind of gauge cluster there. It just holds gears a little bit longer. Yeah, that's kind of pointless. I'll just get that off of manual mode. You really don't need it. Again, this engine just pulls from every speed. It just pulls all the time, so I don't see the point of the paddle shifters. Ride quality, again, pretty good. So let's talk about the handling. And well, we did take this out on a mountain road, so let's just go ahead and cut to that. Again, I really have zero confidence in any of these turns in this thing. I don't know what anything's doing. I mean, I've had their steering out there that's no feedback, but this is zero. I mean, I'm sure if the steering was just sensitized a little bit better, the suspension probably isn't too bad. But anyway, still having fun out here.
It's gorgeous.
Okay, so as you can see from that mountain adventure, the steering in this is about the deadest steering of, I think, a lot of the compacts. Especially, it's just dead. They're you know, the car handles pretty good. But anyway, let's hop out here on the highway real fast. Now, we did actually take it out on the highway for many miles, and one thing that's really nice is this has all the safety features. It has blind spot, forward collision, lane blah blah. It has just about everything safety wise, and it all integrates really well, and it works really well. Okay, so out here on the highway, this Escape has been pretty comfortable for highway trips, don't you think?
Yeah, it's very.
Hey over there.
Sorry, I'm sending a text.
Wake up. Yeah, so it cruises pretty well. This 2-liter engine is so much passing power that, you know, you just pass people at will. No problems there. All the safety features work well. Cruise control works well. I got the adaptive cruise in this traffic, and it's got the lane centering going and doing pretty good. Car's coming in front right now. Oh yeah. So this has a stop and go adaptive cruise, and it's actually pretty good at stopping. It's very natural and smooth. You hit resume and it picks right back up again. So this is pretty good for traffic. And seat comfort is pretty good. We've gone lots and lots of hours in these seats and they've been pretty good. Wind noise is very well controlled. There's hardly any wind noise, so that just goes to the very aerodynamic shape. And road noise is a little bit more than I would think in this price of a car, but all in all, sound levels in here are actually not too bad. Oh, it has the Bang & Olufsen sound system, which really does sound nice and rich, so even at low volumes it comes through really, really nice. So yeah, this has been all in all a pretty good travel car. Now the steering does get a little tighter at speed, but there's still no feel. So long sweeping turns are a little bit of a can make you a little uneasy. All right, so big kudos up for highway travel. Okay, so let's wrap this up. Like all cars, this one is a mixed bag. I have actually enjoyed everything about it except for the lousy overboosted lack of steering feel. If you want something fun to drive handling wise, I think this one is gonna have to be a pass, and that's unfortunate because that really only leaves you with the CX-5 Turbo and the premium brands to choose from if you like to drive. But engine wise, this thing is just a real sweetheart, which is a shame because I actually do think this is just a right sized, it's good looking, and it's really well put together. I haven't had any squeaks or rattles. I've been really impressed with how solid this feels. And while this interior doesn't really wow me, I am perfectly okay with it. So, you know, it's all functional and it all works well. Now, the other thing that's been a little bit of a mixed bag has been the fuel economy. We've only been getting around 22 in mixed driving this week. And I think this is rated for 26 overall and 31 on the highway. Now, that 1.5 will get you a little better, but surprisingly not much more, maybe a couple of MPGs. And then, you know, I don't know, it just seems like whenever I drive a Ford Turbo, they always seem to underachieve in the gas mileage department, but maybe that's just my perception. So would I get this car? Yeah, I'm just not sure that I could put up with the steering, you know, despite the engine being so good. So Ford, just tighten it up a little bit. This thing rides very well, especially compared to the previous generation. It kind of beats you up a little bit. It looks good. The safety and features are there. And, you know, if you're shopping in this class, I say don't rule it out. Definitely go out and look at it, especially, you know, since it comes in so many options like the hybrid and the plug-in hybrid, and, you know, it's definitely competitive. I think that's what surprised me most about this, is it's definitely competitive in the segment. And yeah, if you do a lot of road trips, well, you know, hey, this thing was a great road trip companion. Yeah, I think if I were shopping, you know, if you're in this market and you want something fun to drive, I think something like a used X1 from BMW on price would actually undercut this new Escape. And also I'd probably cross shop that used X1 with the Mazda CX-5 Turbo. So yeah, but yeah, I think that's where I would end up if I really wanted something like this. So thanks for watching. Please leave your questions and comments below. We'd love to have a like from you if we've earned it. And again, thanks, and have a great day, morning or evening, wherever you are.